me add to the header some padding. I'm going to just add padding all around so that it kind of has a little bit of breathing room. Let me say 6 pixels if that does it. Oops. Okay, that kind of gives the header a little bit more breathing room, like I said. And I don't know. The only thing I don't like right now is the fact that where the D starts vertically over here, it doesn't align with the rest of them. Maybe that's something I need to. Yeah, why don't I just go ahead and start working with my actual table data, so TDs, and see. I'm thinking maybe they also need some padding, 6 pixels of padding rather, because alright, that gives them a little more consistency now. And actually that's pretty cool because now they all have a bit more breathing room. And let me give them a background color as well, something maybe like a little bit lighter color. I'm gonna go with gray, but something a little bit lighter because I just like to keep the table, giving it a table look, obviously. Let's see, let's get a nice CCC. All right, that looks fine. But it looks fine, but there's something still a bit more that I could do for this thing. And I'm going to do this with, well, what I want to do is zebra stripe it. And that means I want every other row over here to have a different color background. Just so when the user is looking at it, they can just quickly identify which row they're on. Because right now, it could be a bit confusing. You're looking at feeding the sharks by hand and you're not sure where it goes in here if you kind of look at it from a distance. So let me zebra stripe this thing with some CSS. Now it's important to note that you should consider this technique a progressive enhancement because it is a CSS3 thing, and that is not necessarily supported in every browser. So consider that that some users may not see it. I think in the Internet Explorer 9, we could test it out, but in Internet Explorer 9, I don't believe it's going to work. So let's do just that. So let me start with my targeting. So first we start main content, and then we need to target what we're going for, and we're going to go for a whole row because we want the entire row to be a different color. So that's TR. And now here's a pseudo class kind of similar to how you style links. And what we'll do is we'll do nth dash child, and we could do odd or even. Now if I did odd, it's going to start on the first one. If I did even, it's going to start on the second one. So why don't I go with even? And the only thing I want to do here is make my background color slightly different. So background color, and let's see, what am I going to choose? Let's see, maybe I'll do a slightly blue color. We'll see how that ends up looking. Did I not save that? Okay. Huh. It's not quite working. I wonder what is going on here. So I have TR. I bumped into this problem before because there was conflicting styles going on here. So if the TDs have a background color of gray, I wonder if that's actually, yeah, look at that. So it was being, one style was overriding the other. So what this says to me is that I need to make a new declaration over here for table rows, and I don't think I'll have to do odd over here. I think I could just get away with doing just the TR and bringing this in there. But if not, then I'll use that other the odd attribute. But no, okay, perfect. So now here I am. So you see what happened by me putting the background color in the table data field. It was overriding the whole row because the the TD is inside of the row. So anyway, just if you find yourself struggling with some attributes not working over there, just try to put them in other places and it may work out. So I'm pretty happy with this. There is one other thing that sometimes I'd like to do, and that's actually add an effect to this when the user hovers over one of these elements. And you could do that similar to when you use when you're styling links and you use those pseudo classes like hover. Well, you could do that with a table row as well. It's not always supported, so you have to consider this a progressive enhancement. But I do want to show you something that is not good. So I'm going to first show you how to get this done. So I'm going to target main content and a table row, but I want not just a table row, only when it's hovered over, right? So I add this hover pseudo class over here. And now I'll say something like font weight, and we'll make it bold. Now, at first, look what happens. You see, every time you hover over it, it gets bold. At first, you're like, oh, this is pretty cool, and I like this. But look at how the content jumps around when you do that. You want to stay away from jumpy content because that's just it's ugly. I mean, I've seen people do that often in their navigation menus too. They want to like make something bold when someone hovers over it, and it has this jumpy effect. You don't want that in your design. So there may be some other technique that you could use when you're doing this. Maybe change the background color. That may work out. Let's see if we change the background color to white. See, here we go, because now it's white. I mean, this could have, this is not the greatest either, but this could have an effect, a good usability effect on it. But stay away from adjusting the font in a way that makes the content jumpy. Now, before I move on, I just want to see what my code actually did in different browsers. And if you look, here's Safari, so WebKit. It looks, the way I want it to. It has the zebra stripes. If I look at Firefox, which is the Mozilla rendering engine, it's kind of the same thing. And of course, when you look at Internet Explorer, it's not exactly what you intended. It's like I said, the zebra stripes are considered a progressive enhancement, and I have the option of actually fixing this Internet Explorer if I wanted to, and that'd be by adding a unique class to every other table row and defining a background color for that. So that would just mean that I'd go into my code and into my HTML, that is, and for like every other row I'd do something like class equals even row, and then I could define a background different background color for that. Now this solution it'll do the trick. I mean, it'll make it look good in Internet Explorer, but the problem is that then every time you add new elements to this table, you have to also make sure you add that even. And you imagine if you want to wedge something in the middle here, like say something's happening between 115 and 21. There's a thing on 116, I'd say. Then that means that you have to change every other row over there. Change the code. So you could see that would be way clunky. Your options, the other thing that you could actually get this to work in Internet Explorer is to use some kind of JavaScript to do it. But I think for now that's a bit beyond what we want to do. We'll just say that it's a progressive enhancement, and unfortunately, if you're using Internet Explorer, you don't get to see the cool zebra striped rows over here.